I've been designing products and making products, developing for 20 years, but this is the first time where I've ever seen something go from this to this in one step. They would send you some samples, either one or maybe two. Yep. And then you're like, well, it's close, but no, change this. But we were sitting there and you were just overlapping sample one plus sample two overlap. Oh, actually, that's what we wanted. I think that the world needs more athletic design. I really think that. And in 1 second, anybody can understand this is the Ryder.
Hey guys, this is Julien from Ryder. We still need around 4 more weeks to finalize our production mode. So for this monthly update, we are sharing a discussion with Ray Horacek, our industrial designer. Ray has an outstanding experience in the footwear industry as a head of design at Puma, but also in the consumer electronics industry. And this is this mix of both technology and fashion design that we really like at Ryder. So if you are into product design and you would like to know more about the decisions we took from simple pieces of clay to a fully workable product, then this video is for you. And in the coming weeks, we're gonna share more about software and security, so please stay tuned. All right, let's start off. Thank you, Ray, for welcoming me to your studio in Tokyo.
Absolutely.
So as you can see, we have all our 3D prints, all our iterations facing us.
Yep.
So we can discuss about the process we went through to go from clay to a final product.
Yep.
So you started with clay at first. So what was the purpose of starting with clay? Why this material, and what took you to these different shapes?
Yeah, the material. So it's called either plasticine or plastiline. It's an oil-based clay. The benefit of that is that it never hardens. So you're able to basically keep. With normal clay, you're just constantly like fighting it drying, and it's just constantly changing its consistency. So what this clay allows you to do is just always in a state of kind of liquidity, right? It's always malleable in the same way.
So you can change at any point. You can modify the model and
exactly. So right now I could take that and you just a little bit of your hand warmth. Enough to make it a bit more malleable. So you just start to rub a certain area or even just hold it, and you can then manipulate it again.
So that's why here you came with different, very, very different shapes. So what was the reason? Because you had to, it was an exploration phase, I guess?
Yeah, exactly. That was the time in early in the process where it was really just trying to get an idea roughly what type of shape should be in, like, should the product be, and should it be square, should it be rectangular, should it be an oval, should it be, have sharper edges, should it have rounded edges, should it have chamfered edges, all that kind of stuff. So
but here we can see very different directions here, like a square one, oval one.
We were originally thinking with the square, the idea that a lot of NFTs are square based, and so we really now try to kind of focus on that. So it's interesting. It was definitely one key element, but for the device itself to be comfortable in hand, that's one of the reasons why these clay mockups were really helpful, because very quickly it was clear that the square in the hand it doesn't feel good, it doesn't feel comfortable, the balance isn't so great. Even when we got into the kind of 3D print stage, some of these squares are more well balanced than those, but it doesn't feel like it's a device that you want to just pick up and hold and kind of do something with. You're kind of fiddling around with it. It wants to spin. It doesn't want to sit kind of. And then the other kind of major direction we'd kind of looked at was this pill direction.
The pill, I remember. Yeah, it was.
It was a very difficult thing for us to choose between the pill and the.
We struggled a lot between these two.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, but what we ended up doing was, it doesn't look like they're all combined into the final one, but the important elements of each are there. And so what's really nice is you're able to learn something from each of them and pull something. So as we had mentioned earlier, kind of the square into the display, and you also see on the back, the square remains as the frame as well, around the logo. And then for sure that ends up into the tag as well. So that all the elements kind of got a place in the final.
Goes to what was there. That's right.
So but this pill one, this was really interesting because this model here, this number 7, was the one that we really.
It was the most comfortable.
It just you just really want to hold it.
Yeah, it was the most.
You really want to hold it in the right way, the way it's facing you. You want to touch the button, all that kind of stuff. So what we ended up doing was we really carefully went through and got the proportions, and so we based the proportions of this on this.
Then the first phase was having a few directions on clay.
Yep.
To make sure it's comfortable in terms of space, the bigger component can fit.
Yep.
And then you jump to 3D prints.
Yep.
Where here what was exactly the phase after knowing the overall shape of the device?
Yep.
You had a few iterations for each shape.
Yep.
Anyway, so what was the purpose of this? To make these iterations?
Sure. Yeah. So it was basically, the idea was to make quick 3D volumes that we could get quick 3D prints and get them in our hand quickly. So it's a more technologically advanced version of the clay.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So it's just quick and dirty.
But basically, you knew the shape was these variations, but it's only all visible with the thickness, this different chamfer here. So you just want to have so you explore, so you're very, very large.
Yep.
Narrow a little bit.
Yep.
Not too much still, but narrow just a tiny bit to make sure that there's still any direction we could eliminate.
Yep.
Let's say.
Yep.
And I think it's true. You were asking us to. So I think we had 10 or 12 directions. I think it was 12.
Yep.
12 directions. Yep. For each direction, we had these little refinements for each. To narrow to 5, then 2.
Yep.
And then decides.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right. And that's after we had gone through this process, which is the kind of sketch concepts. So the sketch concepts, there was, who knows, 20, 30, something like that. It just, a whole bunch. It seems like there's a lot of ideas here, but there were even more ideas before that in sketch form.
Yeah, and also you were also, every time you present a new iteration, we always have in sight what emotions we want to convey to our users.
Yes.
So in terms of when you look at the product, when you take it in your hand, what you should think about, what should make you think about.
Yep.
So we always have this thing in mind. And also, of course, the reason why we chose this direction.
Yep.
Again, we wanted to convey this something that is robust, strong, but also elegant in hands, and also have a unique not shape, but unique design feature.
Yep.
So for us, it's the Infinity Edge.
We also, I think, have some exciting ideas for the future, for different versions of this.
Yeah, of course. So it's just one thing is when we make a product, it's not only for these products.
Yep.
We already know the next 2 or 3 products we want to do in the next 3-5 years.
Yep.
So we need to make sure that this design feature that we represent our brands can also be replicated in these other versions.
Yep.
That are So of course we won't reveal it here.
Yeah.
But we already know that in terms of positioning in the market, we know what we want to do. So we have to make sure that starting today for the next 5 years, of course.
Yeah, and I think also in terms of this, even within this device, I think the color and material versions as well. So we want to do kind of future collab versions and special editions and all this kind of stuff. So my original background is in sneaker design. So kind of preparing a design from the beginning that it can be blocked later in interesting colors, materials, graphics, things like that. It is kind of second nature. So that was kind of very much intentional in this.
When we had the Mockup for the first time, the device in hands for the first time, so we shot a video. Maybe we will show some images on this video. But we went to our Japanese partner who made our first high quality Mockup. And the first time you hold the device in your hands, it feels really, really good. We really made a really good job here in terms of the weight, the shape. It's just perfect. Yeah, so really excellent work here.
Yeah, sorry. I've been designing products and making products, developing for 20 years, and I've seen a lot of sample. I mean, every time you go, it's always the same product process. You always go from sketches into early prototypes, and then into more advanced prototypes, and then into things off the first toolings and stuff like that. And you always see a very nice evolution. But this is
gradual. Yeah,
it's always somewhat gradual. Sometimes you see a nice jump, but this is the first time where I've ever seen something go from this to this in one step.
And I think it's also that was the first time I worked with a Japanese made Mockup. So my experience is more in China.
Yeah,
and Yeah, I mean, Ray and I visited the facility, the prototyping facility, and it was really amazing how each process is done manually. So we have one person who is like an expert in one specific process. So, for example, for the color of a steel here, you have one person who is in charge of doing all this layering, all this process to anodize the steel and make the perfect color that customers are requesting. So it's really a lot of craftsmanship in this facility from Japan.
Yeah, we also, if you remember, when we were with the Mockup factory, we were going through some of the subtle options for the translucence.
Oh yeah, color.
Yeah, and that was really, really nice to be able to do that just kind of on the fly.
Yeah,
in person, and it's kind of something that traditionally or usually what you would do is you would send the spec to a factory. They would send you some samples, either one or maybe two.
Yeah,
and then you're like, well, it's close, but no, change this.
Yeah,
send it back. And this is all, international, communication and shipping and everything. And it just takes time. And
or usually you do mockups, many with different maybe variations of something that you're not sure about.
Yeah.
It takes time, right? So,
but we were sitting there and you were just overlapping sample one plus sample two overlap. Oh, actually that's what we wanted. It's just.
So yeah, fortunately I was in Japan when they had this issue. We were not sure what the translucency, the degree of a gray, how much gray, how much black you wanted to put in. So then I could see it for my own eyes.
Yeah.
And on the fly we could just adjust it before they produce it.
Yeah.
And at the end it's super good. It's great, right? And for sure I think it will be too light. So the issue we had on the way is that it was a little bit too light. So when you put it next to a device, it fell a little bit off. Not like it was part of the same product.
Yeah. Yeah. And one thing, when we were talking earlier about the mockups, one thing I wanted to kind of bring up was we wanted to add a slight playfulness into the design.
All right. Yeah.
And this is something that it's dangerous. It's a dangerous world because playful is fun, but it can be really gimmicky and really cheesy. So both on the tag and on the device. And so just now we're talking about the tag. So I was just going to mention like this has a really satisfying kind of spin to it because it's balanced, but it's also got this nice curvature. It's not like a actual dome. It's kind of blending between corners. So it's got a bit of a point to it.
Yeah.
So it does have a nice playful quality.
Yeah, it's not only is a bit playful, but it also like reminds that there's something inside that is important. There's like a bump,
like a seed or something.
Like a seed, something hidden. So it's like not only it shows you can subconsciously you know that something is inside.
Yeah.
We wanted our users to feel like excited and just have a positive emotion when they hold a device.
Yeah.
So when you want to play with a device, usually it's a positive emotion.
Yeah.
So which is at the opposite of the current market right now. When we take a hardware in our current market, you feel like a hacker, you feel like a geek or someone who needs to know technology absolutely to hold this device in hand.
Yeah.
So we wanted to go at the opposite spectrum, where you feel like not like a game, but some degree of playfulness there.
At that time, we had some discussions about the brand and kind of the overall concept, and of course the name being Ryder, and it just seemed to make a lot of sense to have just a little hint of a track, an infinite track, kind of to symbolize the journey that you're on, kind of with your hardware wallet and your cryptocurrency. So now the entire design is completely revolving around the screen, which is as big as possible and close to square for showing NFTs and for sure for interacting with, and this infinity edge, and that's it. Yeah. But it's bold and it's unique and it's
bold but still elegance.
Yeah. Right.
So bold in a good way. Yeah.
Even though this device is symmetrical in a, let's say a directional way, or like almost like a topological way, it's not symmetrical in a mirrored way. But it's symmetrical in this way. It's basically like two cupped hands. That was one of the other metaphors early on talking about.
It's like that's why it goes back to holding something precious in your hands,
right?
Because you really do like this if you really want to protect something in your hands. Yeah. And so what you mean is that the shape of the device also feels like that. It's like these two pieces that goes together.
And so it's symmetrical in that way, but it actually has a symmetry in a mirrored way as well. So the screen itself is exactly the same size and shape as the glass in the back, and they're both glass as well. So When you look at the back and you look at the front, they balance on their own view in a different way. But there's a nice kind of rhyme to it, I think. My background is not only in footwear, but it's in athletic footwear, and so
we can see the influence there.
There's something. There's something. I think that the world needs more athletic design. I really think that, because it really has a sense of life and energy, and the human body, and just the experience of being a living being on this planet, and it's just interacting with other humans in a friendly, competitive way. Everything about sport in that way, I think, is just can be absorbed in any other world in a very great,
It's aligned with Ryder. Ryder was want to make something social.
Yeah.
Recovery system is also social, in the way that your friends or family can back up your device.
Yeah.
Can help you to recover your device.
Yeah.
So this social aspect can also be found in this design, in this infinity age.
Yeah.
As you said, that for footwear, for athletic footwear. Thanks, Ray. We could discuss even more about so many other things. Maybe we will do a special video specifically about design in general. I think maybe can be something great.
Sure.
Again, we are a remote company, so that's why we don't have a chance to meet you in your studio. But often, so it was super great to do that here.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time, Ray.